This is the Rock My Branding podcast, where we take short, sweet looks at branded podcasts. This episode, The Law Entrepreneur by Neil Tyra and finding the right niche for your podcast. So why is it important to niche down your podcast? With over 850,000 active podcasts out there, it's almost certain that your branch or niche is represented. So unless you have a lot of followers on social media where you can get your listeners from, or if you are a well-known person in your area of expertise with an enormous network, it will be extremely difficult to stand out with a general podcast. The Law Entrepreneur, hosted by Neil Tyra, has done just that. His catchphrase? They teach you how to be a lawyer in law school, but they do not teach you how to be an entrepreneur. Many lawyers start their own practices only to find out that they are missing the know-how on how to run a business. So after struggling himself for 10 years, Neil was fed up and set out to scale up his practice to a successful business. With this podcast, he shares his knowledge and the expertise his guests have to help lawyers create their own profitable business. This highly successful podcast with more than 300 episodes focuses on interviews with business entrepreneurs, marketing gurus, and successful solo and small firm practitioners with topics ranging from how to find new clients, online marketing, automating tools, outsourcing work to freelancers, streamlining workflow, hiring personnel, and a lot more. The podcast started in February 2016, so it has been around for quite a while, which is almost unique in the podcast industry. When starting a podcast, it's important to find a niche you are comfortable with. After all, you need to make sure you have sufficient topics to discuss that are educational, entertaining, and valuable for your audience. So pick a subject that you like and love to talk about, and also something you are well versed in. Check out the competition and see if there are already many podcasts out there with the exact same niche. If there are a lot of law podcasts out there, see what other twists you can give to it. Like in this case with the Law Entrepreneur. Neil took the issues that he came across in his own law practice and used the podcast to find solutions by having conversations with experts on particular subjects on how to be a better entrepreneur as a lawyer. Very practical and hands-on solutions, ideas, and suggestions are discussed with the sole purpose of increasing the quality of life of all lawyers. This was the Rock My Branding podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Next week, we look at the Cutting Room Floor podcast by fashion designer Rachel Osmondi. New York-based women's wear designer Osmondi uses her African heritage and New York lifestyle in her designs and in her podcast.